In this lecture and the following couple of lectures, we are going to discuss the properties of Fourier transform. These properties will run somewhat parallel to the properties that we discussed when we talked about the Fourier series. After all, Fourier integral and Fourier series are related to each other. Therefore, it is natural for us to talk about properties which are similar to what we discussed in the case of Fourier series. The first property is if x of t is even, then its Fourier transform x of j omega is real. Okay, it is not complex. Okay, whenever if x of t is even. So let us take one simple example and try to see how this property is proved. In fact, we will do the proof little rigorously little later, but time being let us consider the example. Now I will consider an example where the pulse is or where the signal x of t is real. You take the pulse like this. The magnitude is a and its duration is minus d by 2 to plus d by 2 and it is t. Now we have seen the Fourier transform of this, which is x of j omega, and this x of j omega is equal to a times d times sine of omega d by 2 divided by omega d by 2. Okay. Now look at here, this is an even function, right? But and then we found that this x of j omega is completely real. Similarly, the second property is if x of t is odd, right, then x of j omega will be real. Okay, not real, sorry, imaginary. It's purely imaginary. Now again let us take one small example like x of t odd, and this implies x of j omega imaginary. Okay. Now for example, if you take an odd signal in the time domain, now let us say the signal is like this and like this. This is x of t and t. Now let us say this amplitude is a and this amplitude is minus a, and this one is minus d by 2 and this one is plus d by 2. If you take the Fourier transform of this odd pulse, then its Fourier transform is equal to x of j omega is equal to minus j times a d sine square of omega d over 4 whole divided by omega d over 4. Now look at here, in the time domain it is odd function, but in the frequency domain it is purely imaginary. This you can simply you can work on it, you will get this relation. Okay, so you have a pulse of value a and lasting from 0 to d by 2 and minus a lasting from minus d by 2 to 0. So you observe that this is immediately minus j times a times d sine square of omega d by 4 divided by omega d by 4. So it is purely imaginary. Now the proof is straightforward this. Okay, these are the examples. Let us look at the proof for this one, how we can prove this. Now what is the Fourier transform formula? X of j omega is equal to integral of minus infinity to plus infinity x of t times e to the minus j omega t times dt, and from Euler's relation we know that it is going to be cos theta, that is cos j omega t minus j times sin omega t, right. So you can substitute here, then it is x of t times cos omega t dt minus j times integral of x of t times sin omega t and dt, and the limit is again from minus infinity to plus infinity. So let me call this integral as I1 and this one as I2, right? So this is the left hand side, you have x of j omega. Now consider two cases. The first one is, we said x of t is real, even function. I'm sorry, it's even function. If it is even, we know the condition, like x of minus t is equal to x of t. Therefore this is an even function and this also an even function, right? Cos omega t is an even function. So even times even, again it is even. So the whole thing is even. Okay, therefore the product of x of t times cos omega t is also even. So if you know the formula from your basic calculus, like if you have an even function, let's say f of t minus a2 plus a and dt, let me write down properly, x of t times dt minus a2 plus a dt, this is equal to 0. Please recall that. Is it 0? No, it is 2 times. If it is even function, 2 times, then integral of 0 to a x of t times dt, it is for even function. Now if it is odd, minus a to a x of t times dt, this is equal to 0. So as far as x of t is even, then the first integral becomes 2 times. Okay, so it is 2 times of integral of 0 to infinity x of t cos omega t times dt. And what about the second integral? See, this guy is even and sin omega t is odd. So the product of x of t and sin omega t is odd, and the limit is from minus infinity to plus infinity. Therefore this integral becomes 0 for even signal. So minus j times 0, 2 times integral of 0 to infinity x of t cos omega t and dt. Now look at here, x of t is real and even, and this also real and even. After all, cos is real signal, real and even. If the moment you integrate, you will get a real signal. Therefore your x of j omega is going to be real, proved. When this is real, x of j omega is real when x of t is even. Okay, similarly if x of t is odd, the next condition, what does it mean? X of t is equal to minus x of minus t is equal to minus of x of t. Now what is x of j omega? X of j omega is equal to minus integral of x of t times cos omega t dt plus infinity minus j times integral of minus infinity to plus infinity x of t sin omega t. Now we considered x of t is odd. Odd means this guy is odd and this guy is even. So the product of odd and even is again odd, right? And the integral is from minus infinity to plus infinity. Therefore this is going to be 0. Then minus j times integral of this guy is odd and this guy is odd, and product of this odd and odd is going to be even. Therefore this I can write as 2 times 0 to infinity x of t sin omega t dt. Now what is this? This is purely imaginary. Why? It is purely imaginary. Why? What is the reason? Because j omega is sitting here, and moreover this x of t is a real signal and sin omega t also real. The moment you do this integration, the whole thing is real, and that real is multiplied by j. Therefore it is purely imaginary. So when x of t is odd, then x of j omega will be imaginary. That's it. So this condition holds when x of t is an odd function. Okay, so that's it. This is the proof of evenness and oddness of your Fourier transform. Now the next property, I mean the second property, is translation in time. I mean, if you translate the signal by certain amount, then how the Fourier transform looks like. For example, you have a signal x of t, then you delay the signal by some amount x of t minus d, like this. So like let's say this is your x of t, then you delay the signal by random amount of time d. This is your x of t minus d, and this is your x of t. Not necessarily you can delay the signal, you can advance the signal also, like this also you can put. Let's say this is minus d, therefore this is x of t plus d. Either way, this is delay and this is advanced. You can delay the signal or advance the signal, doesn't matter. So the statement is as follows. You take x of t, if x of t has the Fourier transform x of j omega, then the delayed version of your delayed or advanced version of your signal x of t minus d has Fourier transform, which is given by the Fourier transform of the signal x of j omega multiplied by e to the minus j omega d. So this is a very useful result. If you delay the time domain signal by d units, then the Fourier transform gets multiplied by e to the minus j omega d. It means the magnitude of this guy being equal to, magnitude of this guy being equal to 1, because e to the j omega d, if you take magnitude, then this is equal to 1. And magnitude of x of j omega will be the same as magnitude of e to the minus j omega d x of j omega. Why? E to the minus j omega d x of j omega, if you take modulus, then this is equal to e to the minus j omega d modulus multiplied by x of j omega, then modulus, and this we said it is equal to 1. So this is x of j omega, and again this is the same as this guy. So whether you take the signal x of t or its delayed version, the magnitude of the magnitude will not change, only phase will be disturbed. Okay, therefore the Fourier transform of the magnitude will remain the same, but the phase will be disturbed by an amount, how much? Minus omega d. Phase will be disturbed by this much amount, minus omega d. Okay, very similar to what we had in the case of Cn coefficients in the Fourier series. The same kind of proof we have done in the Fourier series also. In fact, the proof is quite straightforward. Like x of t, if you take Fourier transform, then this is x of j omega, and by definition x of t multiplied by e to the j omega t and dt, and the limit is minus infinity to plus infinity. Now let us take the Fourier transform of x of t minus d, which is integral of, you substitute the value x of t minus d, then e to the j omega t, is it minus or plus? Minus j omega t, minus j omega t dt, and the limit is minus infinity to plus infinity. Now what you do, you substitute t minus d is equal to tau. Now what is dt? dt is equal to d tau. Then what is t from this relation? T is equal to tau plus d. Now find out the lower limit. When t goes to minus infinity, what about the tau? Tau also goes to minus infinity. When t goes to plus infinity, then tau also goes to plus infinity. Substitute all these values in the above integration. So x of t minus d becomes x of tau e to the minus j omega. The t becomes tau plus d, right? Then dt becomes d tau, and the limit is from minus infinity to plus infinity. Therefore, you rearrange this, x of tau e to the minus j omega tau times e to the minus j omega d d tau. Now this is constant with respect to the integration, because you are integrating with respect to tau. So you pull out from the integration e to the minus j omega d x of tau e to the minus j omega tau and d tau. After all, if you like, then you can change this tau to t. Why? For convenience. Okay, after all, tau is a dummy variable. Once you do the integration at the end result, the tau will not appear, right? So if you want, you can change, or else straight away you can write down the answer. E to the minus j omega d integral of x of t times e to the minus j omega t dt. Now what is this? This is precisely the definition of Fourier transform of x of t. So therefore your Fourier transform of x of t is multiplied by e to the minus j omega d. The left hand side, Fourier transform of x of t minus d. So that's it. So this is the proof. Now let us take one simple example. So in case if you take del of t, then what is the Fourier transform? 1. Now if you take del of t minus d, then what is the Fourier transform? E to the minus j omega d times the Fourier transform of 1, that is 1. So e to the minus j omega d. Now instead of taking some general value d, let me take some arbitrary value 3. Then its Fourier transform will be e to the minus j times 3 times omega. Of course, the Fourier transform of del of t is 1. So that's it. Okay, so we will work out some more examples in the next lecture. So let me stop at this point. Okay, now in this lecture we discussed 3 properties, in fact 2 properties. The first one is, if x of t is even, then its Fourier transform will be purely real. Okay, we have given an example and proved also. If x of t is odd, then its Fourier transform x of j omega will be purely imaginary. Okay, and if the signal is shifted by certain amount of time d, then its Fourier transform will be multiplied by e to the j omega d times x of j omega, and the magnitude wise it is same. The magnitude of the Fourier transform of x of t is the same as the magnitude of the Fourier transform of the x of t minus d. Okay, I mean, I said in the reverse way. You take x of t, you take the Fourier transform, you will get x of j omega. This magnitude and this magnitude both are same. That's what I am trying to say. Okay, so let me stop at this point. The next lecture we will discuss a few more problems and continue the properties. Thank you very much.